Samaritan woman gets in this dialogue that is comical and, again, very profound at the same time. And every time Jesus brings something up, she tries to divert the subject. And one of the phrases I've heard that's become popular with this is like, when you don't want to deal with something somebody's saying to you, you say, stay in your lane. I don't want to hear it. Stay in your lane. And that's basically what the Samaritan woman is saying to Jesus. Let us pray. Lord, let it be that we would hear truth in the spirit of love and grace, even sometimes when we don't want to hear it, so that we may be transformed and renewed and called ever closer to you. In Jesus' name, amen. In that spirit, I will say a word of thanks. Some of the teenagers are taking turns so that Maggie gets to hear the sermon once during each week, because usually she's out for all three services. And today they've taken the kids so she can be here, which is pretty cool. Samaritan woman does not like what Jesus is talking about. And so she tries to divert the topic. And sometimes maybe we're that way too. Maybe there's a sermon or some other thing you hear that sounds like it's a little too personal, get a little too close, a little too political. Maybe it's just plain uncomfortable and you don't want to hear it. You want to find another way. You want to say, stay in your lane. I don't want to hear that. Sometimes it's exactly the truth that we need to hear, but we don't want to hear it. This last week, people in the financial world, if you've got money in the stock market with the, if you went to your financial person, he would have said, well, you just lost about 4 or 5% of all your assets this week. You don't want to hear that, but it's true. I went to the dentist this last week. He said things I don't like to hear. I have to go make another visit. Do you ever notice with a dentist, you're never done? It's like, we'll see you next week. That must be a version of hell. You just keep coming and you're always going to the dentist one week after the other. I don't know. There's certain things like that when it just keep coming. And you come up, if it's a dialogue, you want to come up with excuses or redirect. Oh, look at that. Look at the traffic out there. And you want to redirect somehow and get it off the subject because you don't want the attention on you because you don't like what you're hearing. It's like an intervention for an addict or drug addict. And they come in their home or office, wherever it is, and their people that are close to them are all there. And they're saying, you know what? You're using way too much and it's changing who you are. I had a moment like that. I was riding with a very favorite person to me, and my son-in-law walked me into a shoe store. And I said to him, Et tu, Brute? It was cruel. They didn't like my sandals, and they wanted me to get shoes. I didn't want to hear it. Maybe there's a scripture, sermon, some words of wisdom, and we want to avoid that. This woman from Samaria, she was like that way. First thing off the bat, give me a drink, and she says, you're not even supposed to be talking to me. I'm a woman, and you're not. And you're a Jew. You don't talk to people like me. That's just the way our racism, and we divide people up these days. And then he starts talking about this living water, and she's so offended, she reaches back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and said, what, are you greater than our father Jacob, which is like 1,000 years before, actually more, that gave us this well? I don't think so. So she's trying to put him off again, but he keeps coming. And then she starts talking, she tries to dismiss him. I know you Jews have a different perspective, but we worship on this mountain, Mount Gerizim, which is to the north. You guys go down to Jerusalem, you claim that's the holy spot. She tries to divert him. Doesn't work. He says, yeah, we Jews are where the salvation is coming, but there's a time coming and is now when true worship happens in spirit and truth. And I looked at it again today. I didn't catch this before. It actually says spirit and truth twice. He says that. And I said, whoa. And it goes on from there. And then they get into the thing. He says, go get your husband. And she's like, I got you on this one. I don't have a husband. He says, yeah, you've had 5 before. This one's not your own. Now, if you notice, she was coming out in the middle of the day and nobody else was there. I don't know if you caught that. Most of them would probably have gone out in the early morning, but she's not socially acceptable. She probably had a reputation. She's out there by herself in the middle of the day. And then he can't avoid it. She can't avoid it anymore. She says, oh my God, I see you're a prophet. The truth is there. Sometimes truth keeps coming back. Sometimes we want to hold that self-illusion that we're entirely self-sufficient, that we don't need anybody, especially we don't need God because we got everything. We have everything we'll ever need. We don't need anything from anybody else. That's it. We are self-sufficient, or at least self-deluded, if we say to ourselves, I don't really need God. It's like we can do this whole living thing, this humanity thing, for this brief period on which we are on earth, and we don't need God. It's like we put up this shield of self-delusion. It's like we removed all the mirrors from our homes so we don't have to look at ourselves and take an honest look and say, you know what, I come up short, just like they say in the scriptures. But if we can tell ourselves, we can just do some lip service to God, and now we can turn our hearts over to God. And if I owe nothing to anyone, I might even start thinking that I don't have to give to anybody of anything. Because I am a self-made man. Nobody ever helped me for anything. Remember the old Paul Simon, I am a rock, I am an island, and the rock that feels no pain. You see, we just came across, I think it was in 201, the blasphemy of the Spirit. They asked what that is. And what that is when you say you don't need God. It's not murder, it's not abortion, it's not all sorts of terrible things I can think of. Those things we are certainly offended by, and they do terrible things that are not good. But the one thing that's not forgivable is to say I don't need God. That's blasphemy of the Spirit. But the cool thing about that is, because maybe we're going to say that sometime in our life, all we have to do to turn that around is turn back and say, Lord, I was wrong, I need you. Life is not so black and white that we're self-sufficient. We're all relational. It's a messy thing, this thing called life. It's relational, so it involves people, so it's not so exact. And in reality, we are in relationship from the moment we come down that channel from inside mama all the way to our deathbed when somebody's holding us for our last breath. We are in relationships. And that's what makes up life. I know there are excuses and diversions. We want to say, I don't like your message. You're not the same as me. You're not from the same town. You're not from the same country. You don't speak the same language. You're not the same race. Whatever it is, we might want to dismiss somebody for whatever reason if they're saying things we don't like, but the truth is it's still there. True worship is not dependent on this building. True worship is not dependent on this pastor. True worship is not dependent on one denomination or church. True worship is in spirit, in truth, and love. And it goes beyond dependent on any one of us, because it's based in God's Spirit. So this foreign woman comes away. She finally gives up and says, oh my God, he's not only a prophet, but could this be the one we've been waiting for over 1,000 years? And she goes into town and says, come and see. Could this be the Messiah, the Christ, the Anointed One? That same invitation is given to us, for us, as well as an opportunity